All right, so we're gonna attempt to do this fun little project and suffer just a little bit more today because we haven't got enough in, and see about changing this front differential cover because it's leaking like hell, and it quit leaking, which is probably a sign that there's nothing else in it, which is good. It's important to run this dry. You want this dry. People might tell you you want gear dope in it, so they don't know what they're talking about. They want it dry. That's why it leaks. But we're going to see about running it with fluid in it and just see if maybe it performs better. You know. So we're going to see if we can't enjoy ourselves here and maybe do a little light duty struggling here. See about that. It looks like it's a 1/2 inch. All right, for real now. Let's see. Oh yeah, nice and tight. I wonder why it's leaking. Ooh, no, that one wasn't tight. That was loose as hell. We all know how loose hell is. So, and they're different bolts. Isn't that cool? That's awesome. Oh, that one's bent. Is it? Is it bent? Feels bent. Let's see. Oh, that one's pretty janky. This is probably the gasket on it from 1980 when they made this unit. So you know it's probably fine. Probably what it is. Probably nothing wrong with it. I'm just doing this for enjoyment. You know, it's important that it runs good. I mean that it's got, you know, gear dope when it won't run worth a damn. You know, priorities. It's important. Let's see. I'll give you a little different angle. Of course, this battery's dying because GoPro can't make a battery, so that's pretty sweet. I'll try to get you in here where you might can see something. Maybe. There you go. Oh, these are like hand tight, which is just beautiful. Oh, come on. Just do your job. Oh, there we go. I'm going to drop it in the black oil. Be sure to hit my head on the frame here. That's good. Let's see here. Get this last sucker out of there. So far, so good. We'll see what kind of Earl comes out of it. Maybe it's water, you know? Maybe it's nothing but water. It's stuck on there pretty good. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Looks like it's full of chocolate milk. Yeah. Oh, it appears that they just stacked gaskets. That they put a new gasket and didn't even bother to clean the face where the old gasket was. That's generally what you want. That's good. That's protocol, by the way. Get very little oil in it too. And by oil, I mean chocolate milk. With a copious amount of metal shavings, it appears. So, let's see. Give you a little look here. Give you a little look-see. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I've seen worse than that. But see, there's the gasket they put on it. And then if you look at the face, and it doesn't appear that this gasket's torn, so it looks like they just literally jerked the old gasket off of the face here and just slammed another one on it and didn't bother to prep it at all, which is exactly how you do that kind of a job. Exactly. I mean, like that's like perfect technique. Anybody will tell you that. So I'm pleased to see that, and that oil looks pretty. You can't see it because it's dark, but I'll show you in a minute. But it looks pretty. Looks pretty janky. Like my other Willys truck, when I had the axles rebuilt on it, we pulled the cover off the front, and the ring gear bolts had fell out, and like just grenaded everything. Which was cool because the rear axle was the one that was giving all the trouble, and I wasn't even anticipating the front axle giving trouble. But silly me, why would I think that? Nothing's simple for Red Clay Traveler. Can't have nothing simple. So I'm gonna let this drain. I'm gonna change this stupid battery, and then I'll show you the process once we get her started again. All right. Hopefully you can see that. It's got some water in it, so it's rusted up. I usually just touch these up on a wire wheel like this. Some guys might get butt hurt by that, but it's not going to hurt it. This is a thick cover. We're not getting crazy, so. Basically, we're just roughing it out, and then we'll touch it up the rest of the way with a cookie or a razor blade. We just want to get all that rough, nasty gasket on. This cover's been pried on some up here in this corner, but it's on the upside of the cover. Looks like it's been beat on with a hammer too, which is always what you want. But it should clean up and be all right. We're going to put some Permatex on the new gasket and make sure it seals up because we don't want it leaking. So we're not going to put all this high dollar Earl in there just to have it leak some more. Let me clean my hands up before I grab the camera again. All right, let's try this again because apparently my microphone died. And I didn't realize it, so I was just sitting there babbling like a fool, and it wasn't recording anything, so that's cool. Anyway, so this is a cookie, or at least that's what we call it, and we're going to use that. This one's dirty. This is a newish one. We're going to use that to go around through here and clean off what's left of this gasket. We got most of it off with the wire wheel. Once we do that, we're going to flush the cover with some brake cleaner. Get all them metal shavings out because we don't want to contaminate our new oil. Like you can see, there's just crap all in it, so we'll get that. I'm going to try to get that little rust spot out if I can. If not, it's not really that big a deal. The cover's still draining over there. Then we're going to try to touch that up. And then pop this new cover and gasket. And we're going to put some Permatex on it. A lot of guys will get emotional. You don't need Permatex. You don't need it. You don't need. It's not 1980 anymore. Okay, the surfaces aren't perfectly machined and flat and true and not pitted and rusted. It's not going to hurt anything just to put a little layer of Permatex on both sides of the gasket and pop that MF back on. It's not going to hurt anything. All right. We're not here to prove anything. We're trying to get it to stop leaking. And if putting a little bit of Permatex on there stops it from leaking, that doesn't make me lesser of a man. A lot of guys get real butthurt about putting in kind of RTV or Permatex or Yamabond or whatever you want on here. They get weird about it, and I don't know why. Just, we don't want it to leak, so we're going to put some on it. You obviously don't want to put so much that it's like getting up in the ring gear and crap. That's not going to do anybody any good. But just a thin layer for your Chinese-made gasket to go on your awesome, super high-quality AMC front cover isn't going to hurt anything. Okay, so we got the cookie set up. Well, almost set up. We're going to precariously place this camera on this box where there's no way that it could fall off. I'm sure the compressor's out of air. Huh? No, not too bad, actually. Yeah, it's out of air. I put Permatex. If you look on here, it's pitted. It's got water in behind it. It's all pitted up. If I just put the gasket on here and don't put any kind of Permatex or anything, these little pits and crap are going to cause it to leak. It might hold up for a little while. There we go. It's turned off. It might hold up for a little while. Or you could just fill it with some Permatex, put a thin layer all the way around this, put the gasket on, put another thin layer, and that Permatex will fill in all these ridges and pits and stuff, and you just cut down on it leaking by a significant amount. And especially this area like where they took a screwdriver and jammed it behind the cover and pried against the sealing surface, that's what you want. So it'll fill in holes like that, and it'll just make everything a lot easier. So now I'm going to go down here and see about cleaning that crap up, because this, I need to flush it with some brake cleaner. See that? See all that nastiness? Yeah, when in doubt, brake clean. Yeah, see that? That's all metal shavings, part of the gasket, oil residue. We don't need all that crap contaminating our new cover. So we'll spray it some more. And get all that crap out that we can. We don't want to contaminate the fresh oil. And we'll dump it on the ground here on the concrete, because that's what you want, because it evaporates really quick. So it's not going to hurt nothing. I'm going to fill this up some now, and we'll let it sit there for a little while, do its thing. And then we'll wipe it out with a fresh rag. All right, let's see what's cooking over here. It's still leaking, just a touch. Let's see here. Oop, this tripod is killing me. Let's see here. Yeah. Definitely doesn't have any metal in it or anything. Yeah. That's what you want. Yeah, it's not shiny at all and feels gritty like sandpaper. That's how you know everything's okay. So I'm gonna spray some brake cleaner up in there, try to flush some of that out. Now don't ever spray brake cleaner like onto the bearing. We're just trying to clean out the stuff below in the case itself, and then we'll re-lube it just a little bit before we put the cover back on, because we don't want that mixing with this, so we'll let it evaporate. We're just trying to get some more of this crap out of here, because all that stuff will contaminate the new oil. But I'm not seeing any like massive chunks of metal, which is preferable. Ideally, you don't want to see chunks of particulate, fecal matter, if you will, falling out of the front differential. Which I haven't heard any grinding or anything, so. But I mean, who can hear it over the straight pipe and the rattle and the vacuum hose noise and everything else, so. Yeah, it actually don't look too bad up in there. I was expecting worse. And as long as you give this time to evaporate, you'll be alright. I mean, because you're literally going to fill this cover like halfway up with oil when you do it, so everything's going to get oil on it basically immediately. So it's really not that big a deal. That looks pretty good. See, that's almost like a sludge. I don't know if you can see that. It's like this milky area right here. It's like, looks like the old wax Quaker State crap they always talk about. Alright, so we're just laying on our back in the oil, trying to clean up this godforsaken differential surface. So let's see if we can't enjoy ourselves a little bit more and get this buttoned up. Can't get to all of it with this, but if we can get to half of it or 3/4 of it, it'll be worth it. Oh, and the compressor sings the song of sadness. Yes. So we got about half of it, and we can't get to it for the steering rods and stuff, which is good. It's really only this bottom half that matters. That's where it's going to leak, so. Let's see. We're trying to, a stupid tripod. Trying to get that surface cleaned up a little better, which it'll never be perfect, but we're just trying to get it tolerable, basically. It's a CJ5. Doesn't have to be perfect. We just want it tolerable. So we get a razor blade, and I prefer these style razor blades because you can grab onto them a little bit easier. They scrape a little better, and they're a lot thinner than not like a normal razor blade that goes in a safety knife. They're actually kind of thinner, so we're just gonna try to get anything off of here that the cookie couldn't get to. which is a lot. Then we'll clean this some more with some brake cleaner. And then we're going to slam the cover on. And then this is just half the enjoyment because we got the rear one to do as well. It's actually leaking dramatically worse. So it's definitely probably empty. And it's a big circle with a cork gasket. So it's quite nice. You know, they said get a CJ5. Get one. It'll be fun, they said. Get one. It'll be fun. It's faster than the flat fenders. Yeah, it doesn't look as good, and its resale isn't as high or anything like that. But you know what? It's all right. They're fun. And I have to admit, I enjoy it more than I thought that I would, being that I'm a flat fender cowboy myself. But I'm not having fun right now. Not enjoying myself. Mainly because I can't see anything. I hope you're enjoying watching me struggle. At least some of us can enjoy ourselves. There we go, that's better. That crap out there. Alright. We're going to let that sit for a few minutes. I'm going to prep the cover with the Permatex and the gasket and stuff. And then we're going to slap this bad boy back on here. Well, I'm going to get a different tripod. Alright, just bear with me. Alright, this thing, it keeps flopping and flipping and it's just some chili cheese BS is what it is. So we're going to see about straightening that out. Anyway, I'll be back with you in a minute. So we're just going to put a little layer on this sucker like this. We're not going to get crazy with it. We just want to try to fill in all them impurities. You don't want it real thick. You actually want it fairly thin, if you can. But when you tighten this down, it's going to squeeze out a lot of the excess anyway, so it's not really that big a deal. You're actually supposed to let this stuff tack up, but what I always do is just slam it on. The second you get it on there, just shove the cover on and let it do its thing. I don't follow the instructions. And it's always worked out pretty good so far, so I don't figure we'll start following them today. And once I do this, after everything sets up, I might pull the bolts out one at a time and put some thread lock on there, because these Jeeps rattle so bad that they just shake themselves to pieces. So like everything on this damn Jeep is loose, coming loose. And some of that's where the previous owner maybe didn't tighten stuff up, or if it's just rattled loose. Alright, so we got our first layer on there. We're going to sling the gasket on top. And it has a certain orientation because this cover is kind of weird. It kind of goes a different way. I think it's this way. Yep. So we're going to plop this gasket on here. And also the good thing about the Permatex, I'm just selling Permatex to you right now, okay? It's handy. It holds the gasket in place for you, so you don't have to struggle as much. When you go to put this on, laying on your back with the oil in your eyes, it's actually quite nice. We're going to put some more. Smear it out half-ass evenly, if we can. Now this has got metal in this gasket, so it should be a better gasket than the one that was on it. The one that was on it looked like just a paper gasket, so this one's thicker and has like some crush points on it and stuff. And I'm getting text messages like crazy. It's the second that my hands are covered in oil. So if you wonder what that horn sound is, that's what that is. Let's see. Is the camera dead? Is the camera dead? No, it's not. It's still alive. So we got the first almost done. Like I say, it doesn't take a whole lot. This stuff works pretty good. I didn't mean for this to be an infomercial on Permatex, but hey, Permatex, if you're listening, you like what you're saying, I'm talking you up, send me an email. I like Permatex. Alright, so this might surprise you, but my wonderful long-lasting camera battery died right before I put the cover on, so I didn't have time to swap batteries and stuff, so I went ahead and plopped the new cover on. I didn't worry about torque ratings or anything for the cover because this kind of gasket's not really, it's not like an oil pan gasket where you don't want to crush it too much, so it's on there. I haven't put any oil in it. I'm going to let it sit overnight and dry up good and everything before I put oil in it. Normally I go ahead and do that, but I don't feel like rushing this. I'm kind of over effing with it right now, so we're going to let it set up overnight and hopefully come back tomorrow and put some Earl in it and it'll be okay. Or I guess it can't be any worse than it was. At least we cleaned out the inside. All them bolts were the same but one. I try not to over tighten them. I have a tendency to tighten something so tight that it becomes loose. So I tried not to do that. So I just ran them in with this rigid impact. I ran them in on setting 1, which is pretty weak to begin with. And then after everything was nice and flat, I bumped it up to 2 and just tapped it. Because I don't want it coming loose. But like I say, I've got a tendency, you can ask anybody that knows me, I've got a tendency to tighten it till it breaks, and then that's how you know it's tight enough. I try to work on that. I don't want to snap off a bunch of covers in my high quality AMC CJ5, alright? So, let's see, so yeah. So now that's on there. That took only twice as long as it should have. But filming stuff slows it down, but I enjoy filming crap for y'all. So I hope you enjoyed my banter and my BS. And maybe you learned something useful. Maybe you're doing this on your CJ5. It's pretty much the same on any of these Jeeps. I've done that to my Willys, to my Willys truck. I've done it to several of them. They all leak. They talked about these Jeeps when they were new, that they used to have to put a metal oil pan underneath them while they were on the showroom floor because they just sit there and leak oil all over the damn floor in the showroom. That's why any Jeep you look at, the whole frame is just coated in oil, which is kind of nice because it acts as a preservative. So it actually, sometimes, if you look, the frames won't be rusted where they're coated in transmission or gear oil, but they're rotted like at the very end or the very front where there's no oil on it. So you want that oil distributed equally. So now we're going to do the rear one, but I'm not doing that tonight. I've had enough fun, enough suffering for today. I'm going to let this set up. We'll put some oil in it tomorrow. I might do the other one tomorrow because I've never done one like it. It's a lot different. It takes this big, sorry, don't need to see my beard that close. It takes this big cork gasket. Apparently it slips in a groove, Now there's a fancy new brand that makes a kind of like a more conventional gasket for the rear of this thing. But the reviews on it are horrendous. The gasket's really not that expensive. I think it's like 25 bucks or something. The original is like 7 or 10. But the new one that's supposed to be the Sherlock, it won't leak, it will never leak, all that. If you read the reviews, it's pretty bad. And a lot of guys said just put the original one on there. Just don't even F with the new one. So, plus this one's made in Taiwan. The other one I just put on was made in China. So I've got more faith in this cork gasket than that the new style, because it's like on this engine over here. That's the engine for the CJ3B. When I changed the rear main seal in it, they had this new gasket that was updated and fancy, and it'll seal twice as good as the original, and it'll make you jump higher, run farther, all that kind of stuff. It wouldn't go in. I had to order the original style. It went right in, pushed it in with my thumb. Sealed perfect. The new fancy one, which was like 3 times as big, wouldn't go in. So just because it says fancy new doesn't mean that it's actually like correct, made right, or worth it. So you just kind of got to gauge that kind of crap on yourself. You know, do you want to do this twice, or do you want to just do it once the way AMC intended? So, but anyway, this is Red Clay Traveler signing out. Have a pleasant tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have I filmed a video earlier. I'll upload it, and then you'll see this one, and then I'll do another one on the rear axle and all the other little crap I'm messing with. So if you enjoy this, smash the subscribe button. You're going to see a lot more of this Jeep. You're going to see some of this one coming up. You'll be seeing another forward control coming up. And you'll be seeing my red truck when I finally get it back from the photography studio. So you'll be seeing a lot of wheelies and a couple, you know, a little bit of this AMC action. So Red Clay Traveler signing out. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. AMC, baby.